guys, cause for Tinubu's impeachment grows over alleged tax law manipulation. Tinubu has been accused of forgery in the latest tax law that is to be implemented come January. Now, take a look at how this headline captured it. It says, PRP calls for Tinubu's impeachment if linked to alleged tax law manipulation. If Tinubu's hand is in the manipulation, he should be impeached, except it is someone else that did it. And this other headline here says, National Assembly urged to impeach Tinubu over alleged tampering with tax laws. And this other headline also says, even to collect tax, he forged documents. Henry Shield knocks Tinubu over National Assembly tax bill alteration. And also, this headline also captured it saying, PRP party asks National Assembly to debate Tinubu's declaration as impeachable offense. Commence proceedings. So, guys, Tinubu is, being alleged to have altered the tax law, a whole lot in the tax law. It's not what we were told that is being, it wasn't what was presented as the bill that was passed or that we have today in the tax law. And now there are calls for his impeachment. But the question remains, is it Akpabio that is going to lead this impeachment? Anyway, let me share with you some of the reactions from Nigerians and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification. Now take a look.
Wow, what APC cannot do does not exist. My country people, I just say make I inform on now. According to the allegations from the National Assembly, say the tax bill where they pass, the one where presidency don't put as gazetted copies they sell to Nigerians, it they different. No, they say they don't add different insertions. They don't forge a lot of things where be no dated. They don't put them for the final draft. Neither they sell as gazetted copy. And for this final one where they put, so they don't give themselves many powers. The things where be not even the one where they pass to National Assembly, they don't forge them add for there. And according to this one where they forge add, so the people where they collect tax, they go start to defeat, they arrest the people where no agree to pay tax. So as you did so now, once the tax bill finally come into place by that next year, FIRS, Sabina, NIRS, whatever they want change their name to, they go feed, they arrest people where no agree. Nigerian government, Ori Buruku Lenshe, this level of failure and incompetence, they need to study them. Because I know no government will go fail in leadership, fail hopelessly and helplessly. Where we say everything na propaganda and packaging, including to forge tax reform bill. Now when I say when they control the entire government, when I want on Nigeria to one party state, all Senate won't be APC, House of Reps now when they control. Almost 30 governors from across the state now when they control. Judiciary, the only people who never declare officially to APC na INEC. Yet, when I know if it still pass and gazette the actual bill will come out of the APC Town Hall Money Point National Assembly, you still need to forge and add to it. This is failure on steroids. This one is the SI unit of monumental failure. Nigeria exists so that other countries go learn how not to govern their nations. Shame on you, Nigerian government. Ori Buruku Lenshe. Ori Buruku Lenshe. It be like now this una tax collector government go finally change Nigeria. The way where we need Nigeria to change leadership. Because the way where una they run wild. Una won't collect tax so where you want to reap where you did not sow. You not provide water, you want tax borehole. You not provide light, you want tax generator. They say FCT administration, they want the tax generator pollution. Ori Buruku Lenshe. Oshilenshe Nigerian government, because it is like the citizens who don't see everybody as animals when no deserve any level of dignity. The only ministry when no they active, where they never create under Tinubu government is Ministry of Suffering and Increase in Hardship. Because now they plan be that. As other government they sit down, they plan how to make the life of their citizens better. On our own meetings now to plan how to increase hardship. You want to tax people for criminality. Job where you no create. People create job by themselves, you start to tax them. When they no fit pay tax, you want to arrest them. Oshilenshe, Ori Buruku Lenshe, Nigerians make una shine on our eye. They passed tax reform bill from APC Town Hall National Assembly. Yet you cannot gazette that copy. You still need to forge and add. Ori Buruku Lenshe, Ori Buruku Lenshe, Nigerian government. This is a shame of governance. Today, when I don't carry shamefully and shamelessly, they don't carry budget of 2026. Go submit for National Assembly. You they submit 2026 budget without any clear expenditure of 2025 budget. Waiting happen to 2025 budget. The Tinubu government is the highest. Now una don't increase revenue pass. Now una don't increase expenditure. Now una don't increase debt pass. That is all the money where they make from 2025, from oil and gas, from VAT, from company tax. Everything went into servicing of debt. Debt when Nigeria they owe, and it was not still enough to service only debt. Jesus! Master strategy government. Make una see master strategy Ori Buruku government. Nigeria make una shine una ayo, because as they carry the budget go, you trust Akpabio and the people where they the APC Town Hall National Assembly. Now on their mandate they shall collapse. Now they don't use welcome the president. 2024 budget, 2025 budget, they don't send to House of Reps, they make they repeal and reenact. That is about 3 budgets they run concurrently. President say make they give approval so that 2025 own, it go run until March of 2026. Oh, Shilenshe. Ori buruku lenshe, make una see master strategic government. Make una see people where build Lagos, reach Nigeria, ton building materials don't finish. Nigeria, shine your eye, yo. This tax, any attempt to tax Nigerians for criminality, that tax law, if the allegations are true, say they don't go forge, they put insertions, the tax reform bill must be repealed immediately. National Assembly, make una no wine on herself, because all this on your mandate, una shakola, so una they sing so. Nigerians are not animals, we are not fools. Nigerians are human beings and citizens who deserve good leadership. Any attempt to continue to impoverish people, make una they drive escalate, see motto of vice president, see motto, see convoy of president, office of first son, first wife, second grandmother, third great grandmother, office of the step uncle, Ori Buruku Lenshe. So now our tax, una won't use the fund on our life. It will not work. It will not work. Nigerians, they say from next year, if you not allow them, people where they collect us, they go arrest you for that work where you they do that alone. In fact, no worry, this tax talk now we go start to the talk. Those influencers say una call 20 of them where una won't go pay. It never reach. Make una call us now. We go explain this tax now, henceforth to Nigerians, because this tax so una want tax so is a tax of criminality. Now we go start to explain them. Everybody go pay tax. So even in the hookup, Olosho people, the people where una no give up, una won't collect tax from their hand. Everybody, nobody is exempted because Ori Buruku Lenshe. We say no to forgery of tax law. We say no to taxing for criminality. You cannot reap where you did not sow. If it didn't day, it didn't day. Go and pull people out of poverty. Go and create job and employment. Go and account for the money where we save from removal of oil subsidy. This level of criminality and brazen corruption in government will not be sustained and will not be accepted by the people. Now we go start to talk this tax issue.
I'll be submitting our brief on Monday to stop federal government from this tax on the 1st of January, because we have a proof from National Assembly saying the list or the one they approved from National Assembly is not the same as what they are planning to use. So now we are going to court on Monday. I will volunteer to go to court and do all the legal work for us to get to a judge and stop President Tinubu and APC from starting this new tax regime. This tax regime has been compromised, is infected, is not what we want right now. We make money from oil, gas, gold, lithium, nickel, bitumen, cocoa, rice pyramid, tomato, curry, and many more products. So we or you as a government must show us how you are spending our money before you can enter our account on the 1st of January. So I'll be going to court to ask for a suspension of 180 days. 180 days for this tax regime to hold on for 180 days till you come out and tell us what it's about. I'll be going to court on behalf of Nigerians, and I'll be going to court to sue the federal government, the Attorney General, Accountant General of the Federation, and I will be joining the National Assembly in my suit. So we are going to court. APC government must stop the tax regime now till a competent court can tell us what this is about, because House of Rep member came out and said it's been compromised. So tax regime must not go on for 1st of January. Give us 180 days. We need to debate and discuss about this tax regime. Nigerians, you owe us that much because you've been managing our resources and we're still shouting of corruption. Now you want to start coming into our account. No, we must balance it. So there has to be a proper agreement. So we'll be in court on Monday. And fellow Nigerians, it's time for us to go to court to stop this compromised tax regime.
Alright, so you know me, I usually don't tell people to share my videos, but it's really important that you share this video and pass this information around. It is really, really important.
Now citizens go pay back. Tinubu is implementing income tax starting next year because International Monetary Fund, IMF, is forcing it on black countries. So basically, as you know, if you pay us our money back, force it on your citizens, make they contribute money, make you use, pay us. The interest, not the whole money, the interest. So this tax money now is being collected just to pay interest on top of the principal where they never even touch. So Nigeria borrowed 10 billion. The interest on top of that 10 billion, now they won't use this money now where they won't collect next year. Pay. The capital no more, yeah. And money not talk and gone. I have pussy tax for the rest of our life. Or more dividing this country, is the only direction. You don't borrow money, say pay. We are now in buffet. Oil rich country, natural resource rich country. Now we are borrowers of money. Now we are taxpayers, not even borrowers. The fact that that part, in my blood, the boy, what did you accomplish with oil money? Why collect from International Monetary Fund? Can't the so-called Nigerian leaders live within their means? Must a politician live like a big man? Must a politician be a big man? Can't you just work for public and disappear? Must a politician end up a big man? Tinubu, no do this thing. Find a way to pay back what Nigeria has borrowed from white people. Tinubu, no do this thing. I go hate you till the day I die. Don't do this thing. Monkey they walk, baboon they chop, government they borrow, citizens they pay. Citizens will not taste anything. We not taste anything. How can I be paying something that I never tasted?
I am far ahead. You understand? I be very far ahead in all of them. Peace and love, don't pray. If you pray, God, Lord.
Telling us to bring 20% of our personal earnings to compensate high cost of fuel in a country that is exporting petroleum, in a country that is exporting crude oil, is absolutely ridiculous. It's absurd. You see us finish for this country. You are exporting tons and tons of mineral resources from this country. The federal government is exporting. The citizens and the people are not putting eye for you. Waiting, they use the money do. You are borrowing millions and billions of dollars every month, every month. Nobody they talk about what they use the money. Nobody they put eye for you. The bank transactions that we are doing, you are generating more than trillions every month from it, because multiply 50 naira. If people are doing 10 transactions per day on average, multiply that 50 by 10. That is approximately 250 naira. Multiply it by 150 million Nigerians. That is 1.something trillion that you are generating every month. You know they do you. Now you have the audacity to come to our personal post. They swear for you, without taxation. Nonsense.
I mean, they say living in Nigeria is cheaper than living in the US until I start to do maths. And trust me, this video will be about dollar rates. This is not just straight up affordability analysis. And some of the examples I will give you, go say, how you know you never lived for US before? I don't need to live for US to understand maths. You get. So, and I will use a very simple analogy, just analyze a very simple item so that you will understand which side you talk. Because economics no dey as hard as it can be. A can of Coke in Nigeria is 500 naira or 600, depending on the shop you buy them from. A can of Coke, that same size in the US, will cost you around $1, equivalent to 1.5 or 1.4. It ain't more expensive here now. Look at the price. It's 1.4 here. But here na 500 naira. So it's the talk. But you know if you calculate cost of living without considering affordability, it is that simple. And what do I mean? You go check the Nigerian man, what will be minimum wage? The minimum wage in Nigeria is 70k, 70,000 naira a month. You go work every day for a month, they will give you 70k. In the US, the minimum wage, monthly minimum wage, depending on the states, now around $1,100 to $2,500. So let's say the average, we'll just give them average. The average minimum wage in the US per month is $1,500. And somebody making the amount wants to buy a can of Coke. He buys that for $1. The Nigerian man, 70k, he buy a can of Coke for 500 naira. You will say, okay. So that now we check what is the percentage value of a can of Coke from his 70,000 naira salary. Do the maths. I get the maths on my head. Now 0.7% in the pay to just drink Coke. So 0.7% of his salary now in the pay to drink Coke. Now you go to the US man. He make $1,500 a month, and he won't drink can of Coke. But it be that, it be the value of can of Coke relative to his salary. It's 0.04%. The Nigerian man is paying 8 to 15 times as much, depending on the item, than the US man is paying, if you compare and out to waiting each of them they make, based on minimum wage. So, knowing the cost of living across different regions is not about just looking at the price tag. Is it higher here? Is it cheaper here? Then, okay, the cost of living here is higher. No, don't do price tags. Do affordability if you want to really know where they're more expensive. So, using this example, Nigeria, cost of living, they're very high, yo. Maybe we know they're deceived to think, because our price tags are lower here, it means our cost of living is cheaper here. Wrong. That is not how you calculate cost of living at all. Now based on affordability. So if you find this video insightful, and if you feel relate to my logic, I really let me know how the thing applies to you. Are you a Nigerian living in diaspora? Is my logic wrong? What do you think? And also know, say, I use only cook as example for this video, where it applies to a lot of other, it applies to transportation, applies to rent, applies to a lot of other things, so I know just call, because I just want to keep the video basic. So, can you like, comment, share with friends?
I like as this guy properly educated some of you on this topic that I've always hammered on. Sure, you understand? Let's even talk about the minimum wage. Even the minimum wage, the 70k in Nigeria, how many people are paid up to 70k? The minimum wage is just audio minimum wage. It's just Nigerian political brouhaha, you understand? People still earn 20k, 30k, 15k, 40k, you know, per month. So the minimum wage in Nigeria is even not effective, it's dead. But what I want to also reiterate based on this video is, no, they let Nigerians, whether abroad, they lie for you. All those things, whether they use lie for you, now big lies, you understand? When Nigerians abroad, they say they are paying monthly house rent, they will come back and feel like say they are paying too much or they are paying more. If they calculate that their monthly house rent after 1 year, and minus it from what they earn in that 1 year, calculate that one where you pay only 1 year in Nigeria, you will see that out of their salary, what they paid is small compared with what you paid in your country, in Nigeria, from your salary, you understand? And they will be making you feel like, we pay monthly rent. My brother, at the end of every month, what they earn minus that monthly rent, you see that you, that is paying per 1 year, divide your rent by 12. What you pay monthly in Nigeria, you see that minus it from your salary, you see that you're the one paying more than them. But they like to blackmail people in Nigeria and make you feel that they have more expenses here. You are practically making more expenses in Nigeria in terms of bills, taxes, rent, and everything, more than those abroad. Let it sink in your head so that whenever any abroad person wants to come and be blackmailing you and be telling you that expenses, we pay rent monthly, we pay bills, we pay tax, just let them know that you are aware that you in Nigeria, you pay more than them. If they want you to do a practical explanation, let two of them sit down, bring their salary, bring your own, make una begin to calculate how much you spend to give yourself 2 hours light per day in Nigeria. Let them calculate how much they spend in a month to get light uninterrupted, you understand? Begin to calculate how much they remove from their salary to pay rent every month. Calculate how much you remove in your salary that goes into your rent. That's your yearly rent. Calculate all the bills, those bills that are making you feel like you pay. Calculate how much you give a bucket to fetch water for you. Calculate how much you buy gas to cook. Let them calculate how much the gas that does not finish in their house costs them. How much their water that does not finish costs them. You see that at the end, what you're paying from your salary is way more than what they are paying from their salary. But because of they are here, you're there, they will call the money. You think that they are abroad people are making expenses more than you. You are making 10 times, 20 times, 100 times more expenses than those people abroad. So let it sink in your head so that they will stop blackmailing you with we pay rent monthly. I'm not saying you should start billing those abroad, but know that you are suffering more than them. You are suffering 100 times more than those abroad. Simple.
See this right here? This is heartbreaking to listen to.
No government hospital in this country that pays a doctor up to $10 an hour.
In Nigeria.
In Nigeria, really. But our senators earn more than European senators. An average Nigerian doctor is not happy. Nigerian doctors remain the best wherever we find ourselves. Our people are traveling, our politicians are traveling to the UK to meet Nigerian doctors. I'm being threatened. A policeman has told me, do you know I can slap you in the emergency? Last year alone, like 4,000 doctors left. In a single year, that I'm giving you 5 years from today, we're in 2025, by 2030, you might have to sit for 24 hours before you can access a doctor. Come on, look at neighboring countries now, Benin. Even Cameroon, doctors get paid better than Nigeria. An average Nigerian doctor would need 10 years to buy a car. There is no Nigerian doctor that is on government payroll that can drive a 2025 car. Show me one. I know of 4 consultants that went No governments that went to Saudi Arabia.
I know.
Do everything within your means not to fall sick. All these things we are talking about, you are one diagnosis away from being broke.
This is sad.
You know that you can be taking the right medications, but it's fake or it's substandard.
Yeah.
See, the Nigerian doctors remaining in Nigeria because
this is not me making this up, right? You see, that story is heartbreaking. This is me who have been working in the UK healthcare system for almost 10 years. And I've also used healthcare industry outside the UK in another or other European countries. And I know how it works. You see, where he said you are one diagnosis away from being broke. Bro, healthcare workers are actually treated like demigods in other countries. Let me not to say other countries. In the UK, if you're a healthcare worker, they see you like you're second to God, regardless of the salary, regardless of how bad the salary is. And when you come to the UK, it's not even capping. One of the best doctors are Nigerians. This is just full of emotions. I'm not even going to lie. Okay, let's calm down. So one of the best doctors in the UK today, they are Nigerian doctors. One of the best consultants, right? One of the best you can get today, they are Nigerians. I'm not even capping. I'm not even joking. They are Nigerians. Go and verify. But in Nigeria, no value to human life. These people don't care. They don't care about you, your well-being. You live or die is none of their business. It is well, Nigeria. Nigeria will be great again. Yeah?
Tinubu cannot. I swear by Almighty God, if it is based on election, even if he tries to use MC Oluomo and his internal terrorist to rig this next election, Tinubu cannot win. It is a fact. As a Yoruba man, most often, because many of you will be telling us, Tinubu is so partial in this. How many of the people that Tinubu has appointed in Yoruba land are blessing to Yoruba people? Everybody that Tinubu has appointed are blessing to Tinubu and his family, not to Yoruba people. It took me 2 hours to drive from Ibadan to Ashejire. 2 hours on federal roads. Ẹjọ́, ẹ sọ fún mi bí Tinubu ṣe máa wọlé. Kí ni nǹkan tí Tinubu ṣe fún wa ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá tí gbogbo yín fi ń sọ wípé ó gbúdọ̀ wọlé? Tell me. Because he's appointing people that are working for him, that are not useful to us. It does not matter how much effort you put. Everything that Tinubu is doing is of no benefit for we, the Yoruba people. If it took me 2 hours to drive from Ibadan to Ashejire, a thing that would normally take 15 minutes, and we see that people in Yoruba land are suffering and they are dying of hunger, we are saying that in Osun State, this man refused to release their local government allocation, the allocation that benefit the root, the ordinary person in Yoruba land. This man put embargo on it. He would not allow the people to benefit. And you are telling me that Tinubu will win. If it is based on performances, so Tinubu has failed the Yoruba people. It means so because more reason. All those of you who are on the internet making noise, Tinubu is this. What is Tinubu doing for Yoruba people?
When the chicken comes home to roast, Malami, Magu, and the EFCC circle. Today, deja vu didn't just knock. It walked in uninvited, sits down comfortably, and starts flipping through old files. Because everything happening around Abubakar Malami's son, feels like a rerun of a movie he once produced. Only now the camera angle has changed and it's no longer behind the scenes. It's on screen. So let's walk into the truth. Once upon not a too distant time, Malami was Nigeria's chief law officer. The man who supervised justice, shaped prosecutions, and decided which files moved forward and which ones mysteriously gathered dust. During that era, he wrote the memo that led to the dramatic exit of Ibrahim Magu from the EFCC. The accusations were heavy: diversion of recovered loot, misconduct, insubordination. Headlines exploded, careers stalled. The system moved with speed and confidence. So fast forward to today, and Malami is now spending nights in EFCC custody, answering questions over the handling of recovered funds. The same gen of allegations, the same agency, the same rooms. Life, it seems, keeps detailed minutes. But here's where the comedy of irony peaks. In letters and petitions, Malami is now saying the probe against him is politically motivated. He has asked that the current EFCC chairman should step aside from supervising his interrogations, citing bias. Suddenly, neutrality matters. Suddenly, fairness must be spotless. Suddenly, the referee must leave the pitch. And Nigerians are watching, slightly amused, slightly stunned, because when Malami was calling the shots, nobody had that luxury. Under his watch, bail conditions were not soft suggestions. They were a full program. Passports were seized without debate, movement restricted, repeated reporting to investigators, long interrogations that felt endless. No negotiation about who supervised the process. No room for complaints about bias. Nobody told Malami to step aside. So nobody claimed political persecution. Nobody asked for a change of referee. Yet now the spotlight has, rotated. The heat feels different. What makes this loop even tighter is what happened after Magu's removal. After the noise, the panels, the headlines, and the public spectacle, the courts later vindicated Magu. The allegation used to justify his exit failed to stand. The man Malami pushed out walked away cleared. No conviction, no stain that held. And now, those same types of allegations have returned, not to Magu, but to Malami himself. That is not coincidence. That is symmetry. Add to this the unresolved cloud of the exotic cars, the stories of luxury SUVs allegedly distributed across Kebbi during Malami's rumored governorship ambition. Prados, Mercedes, high-end vehicles moving around like campaign souvenirs. Nigeria asked simple questions then, and they are asking them again now. Where did the money come from? How does the public officer fund that scale of generosity? And why does accountability always feel optional until the knock comes from EFCC? This is no longer a chicken coming home to roost. This chicken has unpacked, seasoned itself properly, and is now roasting calmly on a grill labeled EFCC headquarters. The same agency he once was under its purview, the same accusations he once drafted, the same justice system he once controlled. Only now the chair is warm. And the request for softer treatment, claims of political motivation, and calls for investigators to step aside sound like lines that were never available to others, especially not to Magu, who endured the process quietly and later walked out vindicated. So truth is simple and uncomfortable. Justice cannot be a remote control that works only when you are holding it. Bail conditions cannot be weapons when you're in power, and inconveniences when you're not. And fairness cannot suddenly become sacred only when the spotlight turns away.
Now, Farouk Ahmed has currently resigned from office after facing enough pressure from Dangote. Now, let me show you guys what Farouk said that triggered this fight between himself and Dangote. This is what Farouk said about Dangote refinery that caused this fight. This is it.
Dangote refinery is still in the pre-commissioning stage. It has not been licensed yet. We haven't licensed them yet. They are still in pre-commissioning. I think they are about 45% completion rather. So we cannot rely heavily on one refinery to feed the nation, because the Dangote is requesting that we should suspend or stop all importation of petroleum products, especially AGO and jet kero, and direct all marketers to the refinery. That is not good for the nation in terms of energy security, and that is not good for markets because of monopoly.
So that was what Farouk said. that triggered the fight between himself and Dangote. Farouk made Dangote turn whistleblower. As it seems now, myself and Dangote, we are now colleagues in calling out people who are stealing money and who are not working in government office. Nonetheless, this thing that Farouk is saying is true. It's true. Dangote might end up monopolizing the petroleum system in Nigeria, the oil system in Nigeria. But nonetheless, it is better for Dangote to monopolize it, because all this while that our government has been handling this petrol for 4 decades. What have you done? 4 to 5, 6 decades. What have you done? What benefit have you gotten from the oil? Oil that was supposed to be our blessing became our curse because of your greed. So leave it for Dangote to handle it. Let Dangote handle it. It's better, in my own opinion. In my own personal opinion. It's better Dangote is running it as a monopoly, because it has been in your hands since and you did nothing. The money when you thief, the $10 million that you used to train your children abroad. If you and 5 of your friends or 50 of your friends came together with that $10 million, you now if you build refinery, that if you bring $10 million, 50 of you and your friends, you have about $500 million. You can build a refinery and compete with Dangote. Go and build your own and compete with him, because since it has been in the government hand, we don't see any improvement. All our refineries are not working. So let Dangote do it. We want to cry blood. When you remove food from our mouth, so you know how it feels of what you guys have been doing to the Nigerian population for 4, 5, 6 decades. But nonetheless, to Aliko Dangote, we really hope that you don't monopolize this thing, as they are saying. Because if you still do, in fact, we will still come for you. And by that time, the anger goes surplus, because we're about to be taxed. From January now, they will be taxing 25%. So by that time, the anger will be forward. As you've chosen to take over this refinery, I beg, they bring the price down drastically till we get petrol to like 500, 400 naira per liter. That's what we want. Farouk, you better say you resign. You don't resign, they sack you.
Some section of the Nigerian Tax Act 2025, as officially published on June 2025, were nicodemously and unofficially altered after passage. Since then, fragments of the revised text have been circulating in bits and pieces, stripped of context, written in very dense legislative language, and, of course, very difficult for the average person to interpret. Much of what has been flying around is couched in statutory jargon, not regular everyday English. So if the altered version felt confusing or deliberately opaque, you're not alone. But in case you haven't been able to grasp the full implementation of these changes, let me bring you up to speed clearly, simply, and without legal gymnastics, with everything you need to know, all for you in a few minutes. So which is the section affected? The section affected is Section 27 of the Companies Income Tax Provisions in the Nigeria Tax Act of 2025. Specifically, the text that explains how capital allowance, that is tax relief on capital expenditure, is deducted, was altered. Portions of the harmonized bill were added and sections were removed from the gazetted official version. But what happened before adjustment? What is the original harmonized draft? Now, the law simply says you deduct capital allowance based on the amount of qualifying capital expenditure a company incurred. Also, only one certificate was needed from Industrial Inspectorate for a pioneer sector asset. This was straightforward. So once you've spent and gotten certificate, you get tax relief. But what happened after the adjustment? The adjustment law now says that capital allowance is only allowed if the asset is complete, used, and inspected. So, if the asset was partially used or not fully in operation, you can't claim full allowance. It must be prorated. And also, if import duty wasn't paid, you cannot claim allowance. So the law simply removed the single O allowance rule and replaced it with far more conditions and procedural steps before allowance is allowed. The new language includes phrases like, where assets is not in use, allowance shall not be allowable. And also, qualifying capital expenditure relating to partially used assets shall be prorated. This is a big addition compared to the older draft, but I know I've said a lot of jargon as well. Let me explain this in practical terms. We've heard of tax relief. What does it mean? Tax relief is simply any legal way the government allows you to pay less tax. So instead of taxing you on everything you earn, the law allows certain reductions, deductions, or exemptions so you're not overtaxed. And for businesses, it is capital allowance. So capital allowance is the tax relief companies get when they invest in assets like machines, like power plants and all that. So let's work with example to make this very easy. Let's use Dangote because it's been in the news lately. Let's say Dangote decides to buy an equipment, let's say the crude distillation unit, which of course is used in refinery to separate crude oil into petrol, diesel, kerosene, and the other products. So as a Dangote refinery, this single unit alone costs billions of naira. How capital allowance works on this one item is, Dangote refinery buys and installs one of the crude distillation units. The machine is not resellable. It is used for many years to refine crude oil in that company. So because this is a long-term industrial machine, it qualifies for capital allowance under the understanding that this equipment was installed and ready for use. So it is categorized as capital allowance. And because of that, the refinery can start the process to claim tax relief on part of its cost. So when you buy an equipment, you can deduct the cost of that equipment before filing for your tax on your profit. So in simple terms is that you spend billions on this machine. The government is not supposed to tax you because that is not your profit. So under the 2025 interpretation, tax relief on that same crude distillation unit using Dangote crude distillation unit is only allowed after the refinery project is fully completed. The crude distillation unit is fully commissioned. Government inspectors inspect it. A formal certificate is issued. That is the new rule, and that is what has been altered. So capital allowance is tied strictly to completed and certified projects. The company must get an official certificate from regulators like NIPC, Industrial Inspectorate, and the rest. If the project is not completed or not certified, no tax relief. Partially completed projects are still punished. So if you spend billions but the project isn't finished, the money may not qualify for tax deduction. In some cases, it must be spread over years or disallowed entirely. And so this is another avenue the government has decided to open windows for tax officials because multiple agencies must inspect and approve before tax relief is allowed. In terms of delay or in the act of bureaucracy, no tax relief even if the money is already spent. And that is the big problem. In simple terms, it means companies can spend huge money building projects. If the government agency delays or decide to frustrate or even refuse certification, the company still pays full tax even though the investment exists. So next time when you see Dangote increase its price, this is where it all came from. Because when capital allowance is delayed, prices don't stay polite. They adjust. You don't grow an economy by taxing machines before they're allowed to work. This isn't about paperwork. It's about whether Nigeria rewards production or punishes it. Because when investment waits for bureaucracy, development waits too. Because when an investor buys an equipment and the government still delays relief, somebody still pays for it. And it's never the government. It is a truth at a time.
Let's take a look at some of the headlines on the social media. The Tinubu's government has come under fire for alterations in the new tax law. Tinubu has been accused of manipulation, forgery, as regards to the new tax law that was passed by the National Assembly, only for them to discover that there have been a lot of alterations. Now, see how some of this headline here captured it. Like these guys say, even to collectors, he forged the document. Henry Shield knocks Tinubu over National Assembly bill alteration. This is what they are saying. And this other headline here also saying the same thing, that National Assembly urged to impeach Tinubu over alleged tampering with tax laws. National Assembly is being asked to impeach Tinubu for tampering with the tax law. There's been a whole lot of reactions from Nigerians. And like you can see also, this headline here says, PRP So PRP is demanding for Tinubu's impeachment. That's another headline saying the same thing. So a whole lot has been happening. Nigerians are asking, how did we get here where the tax, what was passed on the National Assembly is different from what is being, seen today in the new tax bill? Nigerians are demanding for answer. But as usual, the APC will always have a way to manipulate things and to corner things. They will never want to come clean to Nigerians. They will never want to apologize. They will never want to say, I'm sorry for what has happened. And that is why Nigerians are raising alarm that enough of this trash that we are seeing under the Tinubu's government. Now, let me read out some of this article, like the one that says, even to collectors, he forged document. Henry knocks Tinubu over National Assembly bill alteration. Now, the headline reads further. Nigeria political commentator Henry Shield has accused Malami and Tinubu of forgery in the context of tax collection following recent controversy in the National Assembly over alleged alteration in the gazetted tax reform bill. In a post on X, Shield wrote, even to collectors, he still forged document. However, his remarks have been ignited. His remarks have reignited public debates about integrity and accountability in government. He went ahead to say, this issue first came to light when a lawmaker raised concern in the National Assembly about modification and the officially gazetted tax reform bill, suggesting that irregularities could undermine Nigeria's revenue system. Shield statement ties into this concern, highlighting fears that forged or altered documents may be used to bypass proper legislative and administrative procedure. Analysts warn that such acts, if true, are criminal offense and Nigerian law and under Nigerian law and could even have serious legal consequences. Many Nigerians are demanding an independent investigation into the allegation, while others caution against jumping to conclusion without proper verification. The debate underscores a growing frustration with repeated allegation of forgery and lack of accountability among top officials, emphasizing the urgent need for transparency in the management of public funds. So that is what this person is saying. This article is saying that Tinubu should be investigated for such gross misconduct, and that if he's found guilty, that this is a heavy offense. Now, National Assembly urged to impeach Tinubu over alleged tampering with tax laws. It says PRP demands immediate suspension of disputed tax laws and calls for President Tinubu's impeachment if proven guilty. If the People's Redemption Party is deeply alarmed and concerned and condemn the blatant executive misconduct and flagrant disregard for constitutional sovereignty exhibited by the current administration in the recent manipulation of Nigeria's tax law. Tinubu that should be cleaning his name is messing it up the more. Now it reads further. The revelation by a concerned member of the House of Representatives, which is commendable, showed that the executive arm has clandestinely altered bills after passage by the National Assembly without legislative approval. This is indeed a dangerous pattern of executive impunity that threatens the very foundation of Nigeria's democracy and due process. This audacious act of executive dishonesty characterized by the insertion, deletion, and modification of substantive provision post-passage legislative underscores a reckless disdain from the rule of law, separation of power, and constitutional order. It is an unforgivable breach of trust, a mockery of the Nigerian people, and an open assault on the integrity of our legislative process. The PRP condemns this act as not only illegal but also a direct attack on the independence of the legislature and the constitution the constitutional right of Nigerians to transparent and accountable government. The executive action reveal a disturbing tendency to undermine the sanctity of parliamentary procedure, defraud the nation, and arrogantly impose illegality under the guise of national interest. Such conduct erodes public trust, public confidence, fuel uncertainties, and exposes Nigeria to unavoidable instability in all aspects of life. So guys, these are Nigerians raising alarm as regards to Tinubu's and they are saying that this action comes with a lot of consequences. But the question remains, can Akpabio actually dare Tinubu? Can he actually dare Tinubu? Like you can see here, it reads further. In the light of this great development, the PRP calls for the comprehensive and transparent investigation of the alteration and addition to the older past Act of Parliament to identify and punish all those responsible for the egregious misconduct. We insist that those found culpable, regardless of their position, must be held accountable and face appropriate punishment for their fraudulent conduct. If evidence emerges implicating President Tinubu in this illegal manipulation, the PRP calls for his impeachment without delay. No individual, including the president, should be above the law. So guys, these are members of the PRP pouring out their minds, and it reads further. Furthermore, we demand for immediate suspension of the implementation of the disputed law under all discrepancies. Until all discrepancies, particularly the conflict between the law passed by the National Assembly and those gazetted, are thoroughly examined, resolved, and rectified. Should this matter not be addressed properly, the PRP will have no choice but to seek a judicial intervention. We are prepared to approach the court to stop the enforcement of this law and seek appropriate redress for the violations committed. So guys, this is it. It's really so nice that the political party is really taking this stance. I think we should really give it a welcome at this moment. But it's really so sad that Tinubu's government will just continue to disgrace Nigeria. I mean, how does it feel that other countries will be reading that Nigeria, after passing a law, they went ahead to alter it? It's really so shameful. Anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification. Thank you.